What's shaking, my friends? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay, and today we're going to chat about what I read in the month of December. So this is going to be kind of a casual chat here because I feel like it's already 2023 and I want to be out with 2022. So for this wrap up, I'm going to be really casual about it. I'm not going to go from my least favorite to most favorite. I will save my favorite for last, but I'm just going to at this point talk about star ratings. So in the month of December, I read 3,244 pages, which totaled to 7 books and 1 DNF. I was still sick in the first week of December, so this hindered my reading. And I think that just being busy with Christmas and everything also hindered my reading. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about these books from 3 stars and 4 stars because that's all I had this month. First of all, let's talk about the 1 DNF that I had. It's going to be Witchmark by C.L. Polk. Now you may think, Shay, that was on your January TBR. It certainly was. I pulled it out of my jars. I started it on the last day of December and I was like, there's no way I'm going to finish this. So I'm just going to start it now. I'll finish it, the first couple of days of January. I got 30% in and just couldn't do it anymore. Not that it was a bad book. It was not a bad book at all. It was like a historical murder mystery, Sherlock Holmes kind of vibe to it with a queer romance. My problem was I didn't jive with the characters. I didn't jive with the romance. And so when I knew that I wasn't jiving with that and it was kind of insta-lovey, that I just knew I wasn't going to get on with the story. But it wasn't the book. It was just me. So yes, I DNF'd that. I'll talk about it again in January when I talk about what I read for my jars. I didn't mean to finish it in December, but oh well, I ended up DNFing. So let's go ahead and talk about my 3-star reads. The first 3-star read that I read in December was Empire of Shadows by Alicia Wanstall-Burke. This is the 3rd in the book of series that starts with Blood of Heirs, the Chordaic sagas, and I really enjoyed book 1. I enjoyed book 2, and this one kind of let me down just a tad. I think if I went back and reread it, I may enjoy it better because this is the book that it took me like a week to read because I was reading it when I was sick. And so I think that, hindered my enjoyment of the story. But has some paranormal aspects in it, has some fantasy aspects in it, has politics in it. If that sounds good to you, I would definitely pick this series up. The first book did win SPFBO one year, I think, or came close to, and it's self-published, so pick it up. Another 3-star read of the month was going to be Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. Listen here. I reread Legendborn in anticipation to read Bloodmarked. I read Legendborn in November. Again, while I was sick, it took me like 2 weeks to read that book, and I didn't enjoy it as much the first time, but I think my sickness also hindered that enjoyment. And then I was also a little bit sick still when I picked this one up. And here's my problem. I enjoyed the actual plot line that was necessary. There was a lot of plot line in here that wasn't necessary, especially when we're talking about the love parts of it. I didn't like Sel as much in this book. I didn't like Bree as a character as much in this book. And it was just way too long. And I will continue on. I will read the 3rd, but this was kind of a letdown. It wasn't so terrible, but there's something that happens in here that I absolutely do not like in books, and generally I will DNF over this thing. But I loved Legendborn so much the first time I read it, I continued on, and I will continue on for the 3rd book because I want to know what happens. But overall, I was disappointed in this book, and I gave it 3 stars. Another series that I continued on with is going to be The Emerald Storm by Michael J. Sullivan, which is the 2nd book in this bind-up. That is book number 4 in the Ryu Revelations. And again, Royce and Hadrian are saving the world. They're going about it, just doing it a different way. And I gave this one 3 stars. I overall enjoyed it. I generally enjoy the story. It's just not the best thing that I have ever read. But highly recommend this if you like fantasy, and then kind of has like a classic fantasy feel to me. And I like the banter. I like the 2 characters. So I would recommend that. Another 3-star read that I had this month, I had a lot of 3-star reads this month, I feel like, was going to be The Bladed Faith by David Dalglish. And I was highly anticipating this book. I predicted I was going to give this book 5 stars. Unfortunately, I didn't. This cover is freaking gorgeous. I picked this up on a whim. I was like, I need to read something. I don't know what I want to read, but let me pick this up. I want to read it. This is a revenge story. This follows our main character. He has watched his parents die. He's been taken as prisoner by the enemies. He is captured for about 2 years, and then something happens, and then he escapes, and then he's training to kind of make his revenge on his captors and the people that have overtaken his land. I think there's some good plot twists at the end of the story. I just think how we got there, I didn't really connect with the character as much as I wanted to. The plot kind of got lost on me. I really enjoyed probably about the first 50%, and then it lost me for about 25%, and then I came back in for about 25%. Overall, 3 stars. I will continue on. The next book comes out in January, and so I'm not sure when I will continue on, but I will continue on. A book now that we can talk about that I gave 4 stars to is going to be Bonds of Chaos by Zach Argyle, which is the 3rd book in the Threadlight series, which wrapped up that series for me this month. Overall, I really enjoyed this. If you like magic, if you like gods, if you like all of that, I think you will like this. There is a chosen one kind of trope. There are some twists and turns in here. Sometimes the story lost me. I didn't like the second one as much as I liked this one. I don't think I like this one better, but overall, like, there's so many people that praise this series. I don't think I like the series as much as most people do, but I still think overall it's a good series, and I'm happy to close it out in 2022. Then I read All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. This actually comes out in January. Got it from Book of the Month, read it. I'm actually doing a discussion with my book club about it in February. I'm hosting that discussion, so I had to go ahead and read that. So this follows our main character. She has lost her son. He goes missing in the middle of the night. Nobody can ever find him. She is obsessed with trying to figure out what happened to her son. We are looking at multiple different timelines. We are looking at what has happened to her in her childhood. We are looking at her in present day, and we are looking at back to how she met her husband. And so we're getting all of those elements of the story, and it's all going to pull together, and we're going to figure out what happened to her son. And there is a podcast element in here. I gave it 4 stars because I enjoyed it. It kept me turning the pages. I never was like, I don't want to read this anymore. I really enjoyed it. What kept this from being 5 stars for me is some of the just things that I didn't overall enjoy, mostly about her childhood past I didn't care for. But overall, I would recommend this, and I am looking forward now to reading A Flicker in the Dark, which I haven't read. And then my favorite book of the month that I read in December, I went ahead and decided to pick this up, and that's going to be Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I gave this 4 stars. It was not a 5-star read, even though most people give this 5 stars. I know a lot of people who really love this book. I liked it quite a lot. I devoured it. It was very page turning, but didn't get the quite 5 stars from me. So this follows our main character, and he is a scientist. He has done a lot of research in certain things. He chose to lead the science part of this mission because at some point Earth is going to die, and it's gonna wipe out the population very soon. So they have to come up with a solution to this problem, and he is the science behind the solution. And so he, in a roundabout way, gets launched into space, and it goes from there. I don't want to be too spoilery. I have heard people's criticisms of this. I do understand the criticisms of this, but and I have the same criticism. I don't want to go into it because of spoilers, but it has something to do with language. And just by me saying language, you'll understand if you read it, you'll understand what I mean. I understood that because I was very frustrated at that as well. But overall, I loved it. I cried at a part of this book. So if a book can make me cry, I think that's like, I liked it. I don't want to be any spoilery. The only reason it gave me 4 stars, it did lose me a little bit in the middle because it was a little bit too science heavy for me. But overall, 4 stars. Enjoyed it. Recommend it. Alright, that's all I read in December. And tell me what you guys read in December. I'm ready to get in 2023. So hopefully we're putting 2022 behind us. I felt like it was still kind of like a mediocre year, especially the end of the year with November and December. I read less. I overall enjoyed less. But I'm going to do better in 2023 about DNFing book. I think it's going to be a low rated book. I'm just going to DNF it. Okay, I'll catch you guys later.